What's going on? Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and you're watching NFL Daily. And on today's show, I got a six-pack of NFL news and rumors that I'm ready to crack open for everybody who's watching. The first rumor that's coming up here on the board is around the top free agent, and it's Gerald McCoy, because there's a lot of teams that have interest in this dude. According to a report, Tampa Bay Times, that there are 10 teams interested in McCoy, who was cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. Now, the move saved $13 million for the Buccaneers, but then they went out and signed Ndamukong Suh. I think Gerald McCoy is the top free agent left on the market, and he's set to visit the Cleveland Browns, who have been super involved this entire free agency period. He's also expected to visit the Ravens. He's expected to visit the Panthers, the Bengals, the Colts. Guess what? 10 teams, a lot of teams interested. And McCoy, now sure, he didn't have the greatest 2018 season. But when you go back and you look at some of these past years by McCoy, he was asked to do a lot for this Buccaneers defense. Now, the Buccaneers defense, I think you could argue, has been one of the worst defenses in the NFL the last 3 years. So hopefully maybe Bruce Arians and a few new people like Todd Bowles can come in and get them competing in the AFC South, NFC South. Mitch, get it together before the weekend. What team will sign Gerald McCoy? I want everyone to know, okay? I want everyone to comment below who's watching on YouTube, who's watching on Facebook. Which NFL team is going to sign free agent Gerald McCoy? Let's go to New York, the Big Apple, because Daniel Jones is expected to be the next Aaron Rodgers. What? Mitch, what am I reading? These aren't my words. And before I get into the quote, everyone just calm down a little bit. So new teammate Golden Tate, who signed with the Giants this year, was on SiriusXM NFL radio on Thursday. And Golden Tate was making some interesting comparisons with Aaron Rodgers and with Brett Favre. Essentially, what Golden Tate said was that he hopes that Daniel Jones can basically be Aaron Rodgers. Maybe not on the field, more in sense of the transition that Rodgers had with Brett Favre. So he's hoping that Eli Manning to Daniel Jones is as smooth as Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. So now here's Golden Tate's exact quote. The good news with Dan's situation is he's sitting right behind a Hall of Fame type quarterback. So he's going to have an opportunity to learn some incredible tools that can help him in the future. I hope it's kind of like that Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers kind of situation eventually. This made me think a little bit, and I can understand that Golden Tate's trying to hype up his young quarterback. He's also trying to hype up Eli Manning. But what really stuck out to me in that, he's called Eli Manning a Hall of Fame type of quarterback. So I want to know from everybody watching, is Eli Manning a Hall of Fame quarterback? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think when you look at Eli Manning as an actual quarterback, there's at times where I'm like, man, is this guy really a Hall of Famer? And then I'm like, wait, he does have 2 Super Bowls. He is a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. And I think he beat the greatest team ever in the New England Patriots. If it wasn't for Eli Manning, the Patriots probably would be undefeated. So is Eli Manning a Hall of Fame type quarterback? I want you to type Y for yes, type N for no. If you want to know what I think, hit me up on IG or Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We do NFL news and rumors here. We also do a lot of stuff around the NBA. If you want to be around for the NBA draft, make sure you guys subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Oh yeah, we actually give away free stuff as well, so check us out. Let's go to Dallas, because is a Zeke suspension coming? Dun, dun, dun. Well, Zeke was handcuffed, not arrested over the weekend. He pushed a security guard, and when I review the tape, I go back and look at it, I think the security guard would probably get a fine in the NBA for the flop. Now, that's not really what I'm here to talk about. Jerry Jones said that he doesn't believe that Ezekiel Elliott is going to get punished, and I don't really know when I really think about this entire thing, because I didn't really think Zeke was going to get punished for some of his other off-the-field antics, and then he got a 6-game suspension. I think we can all agree the NFL needs to figure out how to suspend players the right way, but that's a totally different segment. When you see Ezekiel Elliott, what he's been able to do his first 3 years in the NFL, it's special. I mean, 868 carries, over 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns. Zeke has been one of the most dominant running backs in the NFL. You want to just talk about total games. In his 40 games in his entire career, the dude has 34 total touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott has been one of the best running backs in the NFL, and when he's on the field, this Dallas Cowboys team, as you can see, they're going to win a lot of games. They're going to be a playoff caliber team. Without him, I don't know if Dak can necessarily carry him. Now, the question that I want to ask everybody who's watching, who's the best running back in the NFL? We have a lot of Cowboys fans here, and recently, on my TV choice, if you downloaded the app, and you should, I broke down my top running backs for fantasy football, and Zeke was actually my number 2. So if you want to see who's number 1, check it out at Mitchell Renz 365 on Twitter. But I want to know from everybody watching, who is the best running back in the entire NFL? Let's go to Jared Goff, because he's the guy I'm talking about next here on NFL Daily. And are the Rams going to give him a second contract? Think about this. He's still on his rookie deal, his 4th year. He's going to make $9 million in 2019. In 2020, he's set to make $22.8 million. Premium quarterbacks in the NFL, right now they're getting at around $30 million a year. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks. We talked about Carson Wentz last week on NFL Daily. He could get $32 million a year. Dak Prescott, the number that's been floated around with him is $30 million. So Mike Florio recently commented that he wouldn't be surprised if Goff didn't get a second contract with the Rams. I think it's a little bit surprising hearing that, because let's not forget that Jared Goff was the number 1 overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, and he's actually been pretty good his last 2 years. 28 touchdowns in 2017, 7 interceptions. 2018, he led the Rams to the Super Bowl. Sure, it was the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen in my entire life, but 4,688 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. The only bad year that Jared Goff has had was with Jeff Fisher. And I'm sorry, I think Tom Brady would be ruined by Jeff Fisher at this point, because there's a reason why he's terrible. If you went to Ben & Jerry's and ordered a Jeff Fisher's ice cream, it would just be plain vanilla. That guy is terrible. All right, I got to get off my tangent here. Rank these 3 quarterbacks: Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, all of which were drafted in 2016. Now, I left a few other names off the list, maybe like Paxton Lynch because he stinks, but rank these 3 quarterbacks. So, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott. For me, there's different aspects. In terms of just overall success in the NFL, I would actually probably put Jared Goff 1, Dak 2, and then Carson Wentz 3. If I'm starting my team today, I'd probably go with Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, and Dak Prescott. If you don't like it, guess what? My Twitter is down below. Get at me. Nick Bosa, this dude's already injured. Already. He has a low-grade hamstring strain. Low grades sounds like my high school career. Expected to be sidelined for several weeks. So the number 2 overall pick in last year's NFL draft has already a grade 1 strain, and we are only like a week into OTAs. And now this is expected to sideline him for several weeks. So 49ers watchers out there, I know we have a bunch over here on YouTube. You guys should be a little bit worried. When you go back and look at Nick Bosa's injury history dating back to high school, he tore his ACL, which obviously, from somebody who's done it, it doesn't feel good. Then, sure, he had 2 healthy years at Ohio State, but then this past year at Ohio State, really got banged up again, got surgery, elected not to come back to help out his NFL draft stock, and it helped him out. I mean, he still went number 2 overall to the San Francisco 49ers, and when you look at the top 5 picks, I think this is going to be one of those things that we're going to talk about where Nick Bosa, from a talent standpoint, was, I think, the best player in the 2019 NFL Draft. Now, sure, Kyler Murray hopped up there, but the concern around Nick Bosa was always and has always been, can this guy stay healthy? And the fact that he's already dealing with injuries, it scares me, man. It really does. Now, you can say it's a lazy comparison to compare him to his brother Joey, but it's also another comparison. When Nick Bosa are on the field, they're different players. You look at them and you're like, man, that guy is made differently than me. But if Nick's not on the field for this 49ers team, I'll say this, I'd be pretty worried about 49ers' future and Nick Bosa. So I'm going to ask everybody this question. How many games will Nick Bosa play in 2019? It's his rookie year. When on the field, you could say that he's probably the top candidate to win Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. So how many games will Bosa play in 2019? 10, 11, 12? If you say over 16, I'd be a little bit curious. But then maybe, hey, you're going to make the playoff run. Make sure you guys subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We do a lot of NFL news, rumors. We're breaking down all sorts of stuff here. We're interacting with our fans. And if I miss any of your rumors, if you want to ask me more questions that you didn't see on today's show, my Instagram, my Twitter handle is right there, at MitchellRenz365. Also, important thing here on YouTube, make sure you turn on those notifications so you know exactly when we go live and right when we post a video. Because, spoiler alert, we put the people on the show who comment on our videos first. So, pro tip there from me to you. Last thing here on today's show, Got a little NFL news. Adam Pacman Jones has retired from the NFL after 12 seasons. He made an announcement on Instagram. If you saw the Instagram post, it's a little bit of a head scratcher to me. It was literally a picture of like a Bentley, and he just announced like his retirement. I mean, sure. If I'm going to announce my retirement, I would maybe post a picture of me, maybe not the expensive car that I drive. I am in full looking for a car mode right now. There's no doubt about that. But this guy played for the Titans, the Cowboys, the Bengals, and the Broncos. And overall, he's had a pretty solid career. I mean, he played 12 seasons. That's 146 games, 522 tackles, 97 pass breakups, and 17 interceptions. On the field, Pacman Jones was always a solid player. Now, sure, he had some off-the-field issues, back in 2007 at Las Vegas, but you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Las Vegas. Oh, wait, not always, especially when you're in the NFL, and there's the video out. I like Adam Jones. He was always a very passionate player, and I think at times it would always get on my nerves how hockey players are, we'll say, celebrated for fights and whatnot, but when an NFL player comes on the field and shows a little bit of swagger and emotion, he gets yelled at. One thing I'll always give Adam Jones for, he showed up every single day and played. Now, one word to describe Adam Pacman Jones. I want you to comment below. You can say whatever you want. It's the cool thing about YouTube. If you want to know what my one word is, hit me up on IG or Twitter at MitchellRenz365, and make sure you guys subscribe to Chat Sports on YouTube at youtube.com/ChatSportsTV.